What's up, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the first video I'm going to be posting for this year, and it's been a while. Last time I posted, it was for a grade. I did a muscle up tutorial, strict muscle up tutorial, if you want to check that out. But basically, I'm going to be telling you about my backstory, which I have been putting off a little bit because, I don't know, the dates have been random. So I have a little something right here, and it won't let me switch it, but it's a little timeline to keep me on track because I'm not going to be doing any editing. I want you guys to get the full story. So all right, at the age of 4, my parents divorced. I do have a brother. He was 1 year, he's 11 months younger than me. We're 11 months apart, and he was 3 at the time. So from 4 to 6, my dad was bipolar. I was diagnosed as bipolar because doctors like, oh, well, if his father's bipolar, then his son is bipolar too. Which obviously I'm not. I'm a pretty chill dude. It takes a lot to piss me off. And yeah, and I was in and out of hospitals because of my behavior issues, because that's what I accepted growing up as a child. And that's all I knew. So the doctors and the nurses put me on a bunch of pills. I was on like 20 pills at the time. It really messed me up, really messed up my sleeping cycle, my eating, and I just didn't know what to do, so I'd act out. And I will admit, I was handcuffed about a few times from the ages 4 to 6. I'm not proud of it now, but I didn't know what to do at the time, so I just acted out. That's from 4 to 6. And then from the age of 5, we'll go back a little bit, because age of 5, I started getting put in foster homes, and so was my brother. My brother, honestly, I thought he was the perfect child. He's my little bro. I loved him, and I was like, it was weird that he was in foster homes with me because he didn't have any problems like I did. And from 5 to 12, I was in foster homes, and around that time, we did get separated. My mom ended up taking custody of him, and I was just kind of in and out of foster homes at that point. I was with my grandparents. They wanted to adopt me, but something happened with my grandpa, and my grandma didn't want me to go through that. So she did decide to put me back in foster homes, but only because she cared. And there's a lot of other stuff going on at the house at that time too. But during that time, during the separation period, I hadn't seen my brother for about a good 5 years. I hadn't seen my brother. I had had contact with him, but I had never seen him as often as I would have liked to. And then my dad also popped out of nowhere too. Hence the divorce from earlier. Randomly, my brother was visiting my grandparents, and he just like showed up out of nowhere. We're like, oh, hey, Dad. Haven't seen you in like 8 years. What's up? So we didn't know what to do. And yeah, it was kind of awkward. Like, he just wasn't part of our lives for that long. Never bothered to contact. Kind of fell off the face of the earth, and nobody knew where he was or what he was doing. So we didn't know what to expect. And I loved my dad, but like, he could have done better. And I know bipolar is an issue, but I believe that people can work on that and they can change. But that's just me. And about that time, about age 10 or 11, my mom ends up getting married to my stepfather, who I thought he was pretty cool at the time. And then him and my mom had a son together. He's my half brother. I didn't like him because he got a lot of attention, and if you're the older one and then another young one comes along and then another one, then you kind of don't get any more attention, and it just gets annoying. So that happened for a while until I was about, I'd say like 11 or 12, and I was like, I just didn't like him. but me and Thomas had a different relationship. It was weird. I remember he was trying to be a good dad because he knew I didn't have a father figure. So he was trying to do what dads do, get to know, try to be the son's hero. And he was that for me for a little bit. And then something happened and just like, I don't know, he treated me like a third wheel compared to my brother and my half brother. He just like treated me like crap. And it sucks, like I didn't know what to do. And then at one point he lost his hearing. He went to the army to do some like work on airplane motors, and one of them just like popped and his hearing just like went off. So he came back home and texted me. He's like, "You're not allowed to call me son anymore, call me Thomas." And I was like, okay. And it was kind of rough from then on. And I was also still in and out of foster homes at that time. I don't think I went back. I think the last time I saw my parents was like, the last time I went back to my parents' apartment or house was around 8. And it's kind of in and out of foster homes. I was in and out of a lot of foster homes. So I can relate to those who experienced the foster care thing. I was picked on a lot as a kid too. I was chubby. I wore glasses. I still do. Don't as much, but I need to get new prescriptions. But I was picked on a lot as a kid, and given my past history of like growing up as bipolar, thinking I was bipolar on a bunch of pills, I decided to take matter into my own hands, and I caused a lot of fights. But for me in particular, I hated when anyone picked on anyone else. Like, I hated bullies growing up, and I always beat the crap out of them, and I always got into trouble. But the teachers knew deep down that even though I did have issues, I was a good kid. I was always trying to help others that struggled in school. I loved helping teach people. I loved helping people teach them math and other classes if they were struggling, and I would befriend the friendless, the people who didn't have friends, the ones who were always picked on, and I would always try to be their hero and beat up the bullies in their life, because I hated that stuff. And that was just that lasted for a little bit growing up in elementary school, a little bit into middle school as well. And then that was until the age of 12. And about that time, I was actually in a foster home, and these people were thinking about adopting me. And I was a little put off because growing up, my mom really didn't care. I could tell she cared, but I just at one point noticed she just kind of gave up on me, and she stopped trying, which kind of hurt me. And so at this time, it was weird. It's like, oh, someone wants to adopt me? Because if you lived in foster care for most of your life, you kind of give up hope. Like, oh, I'm going to be here forever. No one's ever going to adopt me, or my parents are never going to take me back. I'm just going to be here my whole life. And it did feel like that for me at that time. But I always put into mind, because there were a lot of issues going on from 2006 and up to going into now. And at that, I remember when Haiti happened, when the hurricanes hit Haiti, but I wanted to be that person that wanted to help others. And I grew up and I wanted to build homes for Haiti. That was my one goal. And that put a image, that put something into myself that I was going to continue to be positive, because I knew things could be a lot worse. I actually could have been dead several times because I was doing stupid stuff, but my brother was there to like help me out and stuff. And that's because I'm a pretty positive person. It takes a lot to piss me off, but I would rather spread positivity, because negativity, there's no point. everyone's negative already. You're just another person to add into it. You're not changing anything. And I forgot where I went off, but yeah, these people were thinking about adopting me, and I thought it was weird. And I was like, okay. And then I got adopted at age 13. That was honestly the best year for me. 13 is an unlucky number, but that was my lucky number. I got adopted, I got my passport, and I was in foster care in New Mexico. So growing up, I just hated that place. I always wanted to leave. And now that I was adopted, I could do that, and I could finally start doing my own thing. I could finally start going places. And then at this time, I was also getting weaned off of pills too. So I was like, heck yeah, things are finally changing. And I actually almost decided to leave at one point because of emotions get the best of me a lot of my life. And I don't know, I felt like people didn't care, but people really did. I just didn't take the time to notice that. And at that point, I just like decided to stay. I was like, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna wait this out and see where it goes. And it ends up going into now, ends up going into high school. I ended up moving a lot. And it's been fun. I have had a lot of memories, a lot of good memories, a lot of bad memories, but a lot of memories that helps me learn for the future. And in high school, yeah, at the age of 13, I ended up getting baptized. I was a Christian at the time, and 13 was really the peak of my life. Honestly, a lot happened. And then I think around 2015, I hadn't seen my brother for 4 years. I heard from him once. My mom, he was living with my mom at the time, and they decided to send a card to congratulate me on my baptism because he couldn't make it. And I was honestly really happy about that because I missed him so much. He's like the closest person I have to actual family other than my grandparents. And yeah, up 2015, actually, I got to see him. I know my grandma in my adopted family found a way to contact someone who was taking care of him at the time. And she was like, hey, it's like, to your brother, do you want to talk to him? And I was like, it's like, my brother? It's like, heck yeah. I didn't talk to him in like years. I hadn't seen him in years. And we got to meet each other that day, and it was just like, dang, just seeing how much time had changed and how each other had changed over the years. And I also want to tell you guys that between the separation between me and my brother, it was because of my mother. She didn't want me to contact my brother because she didn't like the person I was. She thought that I reminded her of my father because my father was abusive to her and to me as well sometimes. And she didn't want my brother going around that. So instead of just not having contact between us, she was also telling him lies about me, that I was a really bad person. And that honestly sucked coming from my own mother. But I knew my brother knew better because, I mean, we're like the closest people to family for each other. Honestly, I don't want to assume that, but that's just what I felt with him. Like I could literally trust him with my life. And seeing him that day and just like catching up on everything. So much had happened. My half brother, he's been going through a lot more than usual. His dad wasn't around. He cheated on our mom twice. And our mom was seeing another man at the time at 2015. And my brother was happy for her because I love my mom. I know she deserves a lot better than what she's been giving in the past. And I'll always think that. And I thought that was really cool. So we just got to catch up in 2015 for a few days. The person who was looking after my brother was so cool. She was so nice. I was glad that he ended up going to this home than any of the other homes I've been in. Because these were some of the nicest people I've met. And it just like took us back back to when we were little kids, and it was just weird. And then later that day, my mom did actually find out, and honestly, I'm pretty sure she was pissed, but I don't care because I got to see my brother, and he was 14 at the time. Yeah, he's 18 now, so she has nothing to say over if we see each other or not now. So I'm really excited that I get to see him now that I am 19, he's 18, and nothing's stopping us. And years ago, at the age of about 6, my brother mentioned our sister, who I had no idea about because my mom didn't tell us. She didn't tell me anything. He just we had to meet the cops for something, and my brother was like, "Hey, it's I'm talking to our sister." I was like, "Oh, snap, we have a sister?" He was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Her name is," and she's this old, and I was like, "Oh, dang, that's crazy." So I hope I can find her someday because she's probably pretty awesome. She ended up getting put up for adoption at a very young age before I came along. I think she's about a few years older than me. So she's 21 or 22. And that's about my sister. So now we're up to 2016 now. 2016 to 2019, my high school years. A lot of emotion. That's all I can say. It's an emotional roller coaster. I dealt with a lot. And I had a lot of rumors spread around about me. Not good things, but it was a learning experience for sure. In 2015, after I met my brother and we departed again, I just kind of said I was done with religion. I didn't feel like if there was anything out there, I didn't feel like it was for my benefit. I felt like it was a waste of time. So from 2015 on, I kind of became an atheist. And that's just what I've stuck with ever since then. If I find something in the future, then cool. But if not, it's no sweat to me. I could be doing better things with my life. That's just me personally. Don't take that personally, guys. I don't want it to go there. But yeah, it's going up to graduation, and throughout high school I did some sports. I did ROTC, JROTC. I did regular JROTC, and then I did drill. I loved drill. It was so fun. And I miss all of my buddies who I got to make connections with because they're pretty cool people. We're like one huge screwed up family, but we're the best family 'cause I know we always got each other's back, no matter where we are and how old we are. And then I did powerlifting at a different high school. I decided to try it out because honestly it looked fun and I had a blast. And I'm actually going to continue that for a career in the future. Starting 2020, I'm going to start doing competitions for that. And I also been interested in bodybuilding, so I'm going to start doing that too. And I'm also starting my personal trainer certification and nutritional certification. So this year is going to be a crazy year, and I'm also moving, just me by myself, starting my life, starting a clean fresh start on my own. Of course, splitting rent with somebody because it's going to be expensive. That's life though. And honestly, yeah, and just hopefully getting to see my brother next year too, because I do miss him. It's been a while since we've seen each other, and he's a pretty cool little brother. But yeah, pretty sure you guys are caught up on my timeline. A lot's happened in my life. A lot of hurt and sorrow, but a lot of good moments in my life, and I wouldn't honestly change any of that for anything, honestly. It's made me the person that I am today, and I hope this story that I told you can impact you in such a way that it gives you hope that there is better things but to come in your life, because there's no point in being sad and all that stuff, because there's so much more to life than being in sorrow and just complaining. There could be so much worse things going on in your life. And I personally get that. I've been through a lot, and I could relate to most people out there now. And I just want to give words of hope and share my backstory so you guys know who I am going into this next year, and spreading positive vibes too, because positivity is awesome. And yeah, that's my backstory, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and comment down below if it made an impact on you. And thank you for everyone who's about to watch this video, because you guys are awesome and you guys stuck through this whole 20-minute video. So peace, guys.